When my dad goes to work, he does really important stuff. He stops bad guys and keeps everyone safe. When people are in trouble, he saves the day. He's always smiling when he does it. My dad's job? Saving the world. My dad works for Vought.
Vought International. Today's heroes, tomorrow's future.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my Boys Season 4 teaser trailer video. Obviously, I had a funny little clip there of Ryan talking about Homelander because he's living at Vought Tower full-time now. So we'll break it all down. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. They're working on Season 4 right now. They confirmed that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to be playing a new character, so they're just slowly accumulating more and more supernatural cameos.
Well, and they're questions I think that we're asking now in real life. I think The Boys in particular does a really great job of kind of paralleling what's going on in the world. This episode, you know, they talk about everyone having cameras and how that has changed everything. It's amazingly topical. I think Kripke has just done an amazing job.
Now all they have to do is get Jared Padalecki to cameo during Season 5. You can let me know in the comments who you would want him to cameo as. Most of the characters that they're introducing on the show in successive seasons are still people from the comics, but there aren't that many comics, so some of the characters they just create on the fly. But the reason why they're releasing Ryan teasers like this with Homelander, with him seemingly in this weird situation at Vought trying to promote their narrative, is because Season 4 is primarily about the battle for Ryan's soul. That's kind of what they teased at the end of Season 3. The whole idea that Ryan was slowly kind of drinking the Kool-Aid, getting this negative reinforcement, learning all the wrong things. When Homelander introduces him to the crowd of his fanboys there, like Todd, screaming, "Yay, I'm so happy to see Homelander kill a whole bunch of people." The whole idea this whole time is that Ryan has felt like an outsider. They've been hiding him. He's been trying to hide his powers. He hates his powers because he feels like so much of an outsider. They make him an outsider. Before he had his big split with Butcher, he was talking to Kimiko about that because she wanted to get rid of her powers too for the same reason. The difference with Ryan, though, is that when Homelander introduces him and he sees Homelander kill that dude in front of everyone and they cheer him on for it, like they love him for it, Ryan's like, wait a minute, people will love me for my powers? I don't have to hide them anymore? This is wonderful. But the whole idea is that like his young brain isn't connecting all the dots yet. Like, wait a minute, no, this is terrible. That's why they have the very ominous music that they end on as Ryan gives this kind of evil-looking smile, like, oh no, what's happened? And the funny thing is that even though Homelander is a completely terrible person and you don't want him to pollute Ryan with his ideology, deep inside Homelander is kind of going through the same battle that's going on inside Ryan as well. Like, he has those two halves. They had that great scene of Homelander versus Homelander.
Why the long face, Tiger? When we were kids, alone in the bedroom, I got us through it, right?
They kind of made it seem like he was full-blown schizophrenic, like he had multiple personalities inside him that were battling for supremacy. There's the young boy inside him. There were actually some flashbacks they included in earlier seasons too that I'll talk about because they're actually really cool deleted scenes. They show you Homelander as a kid kind of going through the same thing that Ryan went through, but getting even worse lessons in how it twisted him and he turned into the person that you see today, the monster that you see today. But the whole idea is that this version of Homelander, this personality, just wants people to love him. He'll do anything it takes to get people to love him, no matter what. He doesn't care about killing people. He doesn't even care about being Homelander. He just cares about being part of the crowd, so to speak, like just being part of a family. That was why he had that weird mommy kink with Madeline Stillwell, because he didn't really have a mother. Like, he had a mother biologically carried him to term, but essentially he was created in a lab, so he didn't really have a mother, and his mother died during childbirth. So a lot of this is on Stan Edgar. Like, Stan Edgar was primarily responsible for his creation and what eventually happened to it, like the way that they raised him. That's why he keeps referring to the bad room, like they put him in the quote-unquote bad room that would nullify his powers, or that would at least contain him somewhat. Technically, the idea is that there is nothing on planet Earth that can contain Homelander. Like, that's how powerful he's meant to be. That's why Ryan is such a big deal, because he's like one of the first people that we know of that was born of someone with compound V powers, because technically, it's supposed to make you sterile. That's why it's such a big deal that he was born. Like, wait a minute, it's actually possible? In the idea that somehow Ryan is much more powerful. Also, because he was born naturally, he doesn't have compound V flowing through his veins the same way that Homelander and all the other compound V supers do. So theoretically, they couldn't nullify his powers the same way. But then you have the evil personality inside him that's talking to him like, how did I get us through all those times in the bad room? It sounds like what happened when he was young, he developed a split personality to deal with all the trauma that he was experiencing, and that became like the really hardcore evil personality. And that'll be the one that Ryan winds up having to actually do battle with. I think the whole idea is that they wanted to tease during season 3 is that, like, there were a couple people like Butcher, Huey, and Soldier Boy almost took Homelander down. Like, they got him down pinned for a little while, but he still got away. So even with everything that they threw at him, they were barely able to get the drop on him. So ultimately, the only person that will be able to actually take him down would be someone like Ryan. So they're kind of turning this into like a Star Wars, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker scenario, where in Star Wars, obviously, Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker tries to redeem Darth Vader successfully. But I think because they don't want to be too on the nose with it, and because this will go a couple more seasons probably, whatever their version of that winds up being, there'll be a big twist on it. Like, he probably will not be able to redeem Homelander ultimately. But you tell all these jokes, and we talk about Ryan being the only person who can defeat Homelander. What if the only person who can defeat Homelander is Homelander? Like, it literally and metaphorically becomes a battle between Homelander's two personalities. That would be crazy. The problem with Ryan and Homelander is that Ryan just isn't getting any of that message. Like, the people that are around him now, primarily Homelander, are all Vought people. They want to turn him into the next Homelander. The other big narrative that's going to be happening in season 4 is the whole battle over the White House. Like, who is going to control the White House? Because even though it seems like there are a couple different forces on the show that are trying to control the White House, ultimately it's really just about Vought trying to control the White House. If you think about it this way, the whole idea is that Victoria Neumann wants to win the vice presidency on Robert Singer's ticket. She was vying for all this power, making all these deals, backstabbing people, betraying people. She betrayed Stan Edgar. She threatened to kill Starlight if she didn't help her toe the party line and help her win more political power. And even though it seems like she hates Homelander and hates Vought, like everything that Vought is doing, the whole idea is that Stan Edgar's long-term plan was to control the White House, and he was grooming her to be able to eventually do that. The whole idea is that he was behind everything Victoria Neumann was doing the whole time, and even when she betrayed him, he seemed bemused by it, like, aha, the student has finally become the master. She's done exactly what I trained her to do. So it still seems like even now, Victoria Neumann is still doing what Stan Edgar wanted her to do, fulfilling his dream of controlling the White House. If you remember way back in season 2, they sort of teased this with Robert Singer's character when he was talking to him about literally telling the president what he was supposed to be doing. Like, wait a minute, you want to control the White House? Yes, absolutely, I want to control the White House. Back then, it was about them starting to get Compound V in the military. Then by season 3, he'd reveal his real long-term plan is to basically get rid of their superhero business, like basically get rid of the Disney side of their company, like the extremely evil version of Disney that was just fronting Compound V superheroes so that they could make more money. Like, we got this formula that can turn people into superheroes. How can we best monetize this? Well, let's create some fake superheroes. It'd be like if Disney had the ability to create real superheroes and they built the Marvel brand around that just as a way to make money. But then you revealed during season 3 that that was actually kind of a lost cause. They could make more money just by being a core pharmaceutical company like an even more evil version of Pfizer. So ultimately, he was planning on getting rid of all their superhero business and just selling the temporary Compound V to the military and making way more money with way less downside, way less collateral damage. They actually teased that during season 1, that Vought superheroes cause more damage than they prevent. The whole idea with Butcher's character, obviously he's still trying to win Ryan over, but because he's so terrible, like he's just as bad as Homelander, just in a completely different direction. Currently, he and Ryan are on the outs, so he's got to do something to convince Ryan that he actually cares about him and is doing things in his best interest, but Ryan just isn't ready to see that at the moment. Starlight formally joins the boys at the end of season 3, so now they have another, like, really powerful character. And even though I think that Victoria Neumann and Robert Singer will successfully win the presidency, I don't know if that's going to happen during season 4, if they'll stretch that into season 5. They might win it, like, right at the end of the season, and then they'll deal with them actually being in office during season 5. The final arc of the boys' comic book was basically them battling it out in the White House with this big political play. So I don't know how many seasons they're going to drag that on, but there's been a bunch of stuff that they've added that was not in the comic book. I think they're planning on at least 5 seasons, but they could go to like 7 seasons if they really wanted to. And they have this Boys Gen V spinoff, which is all about the Godolkin University and a spinoff from the Red River Institute that they teased during season 3. They've got all these Compound V kids that are coming through Red River Institute, which is basically like a place for parents to throw away the kids or parents who wind up accidentally killing their parents and then don't have any. So it's kind of like a glorified holding facility for Compound V kids. But Vought develops this university for kids that seem like they have potential to earn a lot of money for them, like they have useful powers. So we'll see a bunch of them during this Boys spinoff, and it'll be kind of like a cross between the Boys series and the Hunger Games, with them all battling it out for a potential place on the Seven. So we'll be connected to the main series and feed into the Boys season 4. Like, we'll see the spinoff and then we'll see season 4. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on, like it's gonna get really crazy, so if there's anything that I didn't talk about in the video that you have questions about during season 4, just write it below in the comments. Big reminder that The Last of Us episodes are starting tonight. My full episode 1 video will post later. You can click here for my Last of Us episode 1 review, and click here for my brand new Kang time travel scene breakdown from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Big connections to Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.